no, nigga, not today. What's wrong with you? Sit down.
Drink some whiskey. Take another hit. I'm in a fucking car chase.
Yeah. To be inside of my head for just that few couple of seconds there, that's quite accurate. Bang your head to the opening riff. Did y'all know? Now I got this from another YouTube source, so the reliability scale is but apparently Martin Lawrence was originally in line to play Pookie in New Jack City, but he dropped out in favor of Do the Right Thing. What's happening, y'all? It's your boy J-Dub here, and welcome to episode 40 of The Real Rush, right here on YouTube. And speaking of fours, happy July 4th. Well, at least happy July 4th weekend. Happy Independence Day weekend. I'm still rocking the red, white, and blue. Got them all together. Got the Wonder Woman tights on with the stars and everything on it and whatnot. You know why? Because I'm patriotic as fuck, y'all. And this weekend was awesome. Just awesome. Especially cinematic-wise. But first things first. Before we get down to the brass tacks of episode 40, well, the fact that we made it to episode 40 this far, to everybody who's watched thus far, thank you. There's the Real Rush golf clap of the episode right there, y'all. We done made it to 40. Lordy, Real Rush is 40. Well, at least 40 episodes. I don't know about 40 years yet. Still got a ways to go on that. Yeah. Anywho, Toy Story 2. I don't know if anybody's heard about this, but as anybody who's seen any of the Toy Story movies knows that during the ending credits, they have outtakes and such. Well, there was one outtake, there was one outtake during the ending credits of Toy Story 2. That was a casting call scene, and took place between a character, I think his name was like Slinky Jim, Slinky Pete, Stinky Pete, something like that, and two Barbie dolls. And now it's being removed from any future releases of the movie, like the new 4K release and all that, because of the whole Weinstein scandal and the Me Too movement and everything. Which I get to a certain degree, but my question here is just how far back, where is the line going to be drawn in all this retro censoring bullshit? Because sooner or later, ladies and gents, folks, we just ain't gonna have no history left. Just rewriting history as we go now. I don't know about all this. And cinematic history, take parts out of movies. I mean, I don't know, because weigh in on your thoughts, because that's definitely a topic, I guess you could say, of hotness these days, at least in the movie world. And speaking of movies, let's go ahead and get on down to episode 40's Brass Tacks. I got 3 new movies reviewed for y'all this episode, just as I promised last episode. Is that what I promised last episode? Yes? No? Maybe so? Yes! 3 new reviews for y'all this episode. So first up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, how about we just go ahead and slam it and jam it on down with this week's blockbuster. So much that the Pepsi in me, also red, white, and blue, got a little bit of a blockbuster coming up through my duodenum. Right? Something? Which way's the duodenum? I don't know. But this ain't no physics class. This is all about Spider-Man Far From Home, y'all, which is the final installment in the Infinity Saga. This rounds out Phase 3 of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And not to give too terribly much away. And I don't know, you know what? Even though the trailer and everything has pretty much told everybody what happens at the end of Endgame, I'm still going to try to avoid that as much as possible in this review right here. Okay? Okay, so, here it go, man. So Peter Parker and his friends, after the events of Endgame, boom, right there. After the events of Endgame, they end up going on a school trip to Europe, where he's found and recruited by Nick Fury to join forces with Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, to take down the elementals, which are threatening to destroy Earth as we know it. And at the same time, he may or may not be pursuing his love interest in MJ. So you still got Tom Holland as Spidey, aka Peter Parker. Tom Holland has an amazing ass in a Spidey suit. Or so I've heard. You got Zendaya, you got Sam Jack as Nick Fury up in the joint. Jacob Batalon, JB Smooth's up in it. How's it rank up against the first Spider-Man? That was the first of its kind. It's still enjoyable. Which one would I pick over the other? I'd still go with Homecoming, just to be personally speaking. But yo, it's still got the laughs. It's still got the action. It's a great send-off to Phase 3 and the Infinity Saga. So that way and still not to give anything away or anything, we're not ending it too heavy. Because if you've seen the last, I'm going to go ahead and include, not in the MCU saga, or in the Infinity Saga, but we're going to go ahead and include Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But if you notice that in Spider-Man Homecoming, you know, they're a little bit more lighthearted in tone, as opposed to most of the, well, not most of the other movies but most of the latest movies in the MCU franchise, saga, universe, whatever. But yeah, it stays in touch with that. It stays in line with that. The action's awesome. The humor's on point. It's directed by John Watts, so it's still got the same stylings and everything as Homecoming did. I saw it in IMAX this past Wednesday night up at the Airbus. Our streak did get broken, as it was not our first. It was our first non-opening night for a Marvel movie, which means that was the first time that I have not seen the Marvel movie like opening night, opening showing, or at least opening night since Doctor Strange in 2016. But that's okay, because the streak of the Airbus still goes with your boy, because my streak goes 13 Marvel movies in a row seen up at that joint. I should say 13 MCU movies in a row seen up at that joint ever since Avengers Age of Ultron. I recommend that you do the same, that you see Spider-Man Far From Home in IMAX or Dolby Cinema or RPX or what's the one that Cinemark's got, XD or whatever. Any of that, see it in the prime format possible. Go get yourself the proper. And if you haven't seen Endgame yet, that is still playing in some theaters before it. As a matter of fact, that has been released, apparently, re-released with new post-credits footage. So if I can swing that, or if I can find where the hell that's playing, that might be next up on the Real Rush ticket as well. But yes, Spider-Man Far From Home, go get your summer Marvel fix on. And get at your boy. Tell me what you thought, how you thought it was, child. Okay. Spider-Man Far From Home. It's fucking awesome. Go see it, y'all. Check it out.
Deathbox 9000.
Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket. If you feel my trepidation going into this next review here, if you've seen Hereditary, then you kind of know why. But we did go into to review for you the new Ari Aster movie, or Ari Aster movie. Excuse me, sir. Ari Aster. Midsommar. Okay, now this stars Florence Pugh and Jack Rayner as a couple whose relationship has not been the greatest for some time. Now, a severe family tragedy strikes Florence Pugh's character, and that sort of brings them back together. And at the time that Jack Rayner's character and his group of friends, including Will Poulter, are about to take a trip over to Sweden for this big fest that's happening over there in rural Sweden that happens once every 90 years. Some type of like a pagan fest or something. Yes. It's supposed to be like happy, joyous, singing, peaceful. You know, it happens at one of the friends' home village and everything. So she ends up inviting herself along, somewhat, some less. And yeah, things are not what it seems, obviously. After things unfold, when they get over there and start sipping the tea over at this fest that turns out to be a ritual, pagan ritual, that the best way that I can describe this, two things. Okay. And this is not even remotely close to be, comparatively speaking, to Hereditary at all. Number one, the first 10 to 15 minutes of this movie. It's core shaking. Core shaking. Core shaking. I'm still not recovered from this, if you haven't been able to tell. Now, one thing I will say, comparatively speaking to Hereditary, is that it took Hereditary a couple days to fully sink in, you know, plot-wise. You know, everything that happened to the movie, beginning to end, took a couple days to fully sink into, holy shit, that's what it was all about. And this totally has the same, Midsommar totally has the same feel to it. My second point, and this is not comparatively speaking to Hereditary, if anybody, and I'm not condoning nor endorsing the use of them on this telecast, program, whatever anybody does with their life is their own business. But if you've ever done shrooms, which I've experimented with in the past, it's been a long time, definitely not since I got diagnosed with generalized epilepsy, hence the stop drinking, so yay for all that. So we're talking like at least a decade ago. But if you've ever done them, and you've ever had a bad trip, or if you even just kind of had to talk yourself, or had to have someone talk yourself out of having a bad trip, and you know what that feels like, somehow that is the essence of what is captured in this psychological, terror-logical film from the maker of Hereditary. The imagery and the music and the rituals and the mannerisms of some of the actors and stuff, it had like a Shining vibe to it, with just this weird like foreign hippie vibe to it, and it's all just going completely horribly wrong in every way imaginable. And wow, quite the follow-up to Hereditary. Now, if I were to compare it to Hereditary, I would still probably go Hereditary, but then again, Midsommar hasn't fully sank in to my pores yet. Like, this is another one where I was driving home, and just like Hereditary, it was storming while I was in the theater for that, and it looked like that the power was going to go out at one point, which would have been even freakier. I'm glad that I wasn't by myself in the theater. Aside the point, this is another one that I had to, at least I wasn't driving home at night this time. I was driving home during the day. This one was actually on July 4th, since July 4th was on a Thursday this year. Yeah. It's shocking. It's fucked up. It touches... The best way I can put this... Fuck it. Fuck the best way I can put it. I'm just bluntly gonna come out and say it. If anybody's ever dealt with any type of relationship problems from like a narcissistic standpoint or anything along those lines, or maybe like borderline or anything, it does touch on some of those triggers. So that's a trigger warning in itself for anybody who may be watching this review, or for anybody who may have dealt with a situation that maybe it's similar. But yeah, once again, the first 10 minutes are easily one of the most shocking, like, just flat out fucked up, floored I've ever been during the opening segment of a movie. At least in the top, I'd have to say in the top 5. I'm just going to go ahead and say bold statement. That's in the top 5, like, most holy shit openers in movie history. At least in my movie history. If anybody wants to challenge me on this, please let us have it out. We can duke it. The NWO is coming to town. It's back in town. The band is back. This movie, I can't wait for it to... At one point, I was already debating whether or not I was going to get it on Blu-ray. Not because of how... I know that I say that's usually a factor in how good a movie is, whether or not I'm going to purchase it on Blu-ray afterwards. I was debating on whether or not I was going to buy it on Blu-ray afterwards because of the shock value of what I've just mentioned thus far in this review, plus of the more shit that happens in this 2.5 hour horror epic. This totally tops last year's Suspiria, blows it out of the fucking water. Like, I was debating on whether or not I was going to buy this on Blu-ray when it comes out in a couple months, because I wasn't sure if this was going to be one of those one and done movies. Like, you see it once and I'm good. I'm good on that. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad movie. Most of the movies that have made that list of mine are outstanding pieces of film, but I would never watch them ever again unless it was for like educational value or something like that. Like, to sit down with my kids one day and have it be that movie. 2 movies that come to mind right off the bat: Requiem for a Dream and American History X. I've seen them. I don't need to fucking see them again. Midsommar is almost... It was riding that fence. But, and maybe it's the fact that it hasn't completely sunk in yet. I did end up buying Hereditary on Blu-ray. I would totally, even though given the shock experience of the first viewing, I would totally give this a second viewing. If I can do it in the theater, I will. If not, then it looks like I will be getting this on Blu-ray after it drops in a couple months. But for you, if you loved, whether you've even seen Hereditary or not, go see Midsommar and get your Midsommar horror movie mind, visual, visceral, frenetic, fuck on. And if you want to watch Hereditary to prepare yourself for Mr. Oster's style beforehand, you can do that. That might be a little bit overwhelming. That I haven't even watched Hereditary, given that a second viewing yet. I haven't even broken the fucking shrink wrap on the Blu-ray. It's still just chilling, because that's not a movie that you just come home and be like, hey, you know, I had a really good day today. I think I'm gonna pop in some Hereditary. Nah, said no one ever, son. So that's not happening. And Midsommar is happening right now. It's playing everywhere. Go see it. It is really good. It is really good. It's really shocking. It's not, I repeat, it is not for the faint of heart whatsoever. Don't say I didn't warn you. And that's visual-wise, emotion-wise, like I stated earlier, certain type of relationship, negative relationship issue related wise, all that shit. It's not for the faint of heart. So if you're up for the challenge, go see Midsommar and holla at your boy on what you thought. Oh, that shit. Alright. Alright. Give me some of this Pepsi. It's not product placement, is it? Because it's the only thing that I really, you know... Because if that's the case, then Vince McMahon, you owe me some fucking money. And that is how The Real Rush officially got canceled. No, fuck y'all. Can't nobody cancel The Real Rush, huh? Because we gonna chum along to the last movie on this episode's Real Rush Ticket! And the reason that I'm so excited about this is because... Actually, I'm going to say that part for afterwards. But this last movie on this episode's Real Rush Ticket is a documentary named Maiden. Now, Maiden follows the story of Tracy Edwards, who was the first woman to ever skipper an all-female crew for the Whitbread, an all-female boating crew for the Whitbread Around the World sailing race, which means that she's the first woman to ever skipper the crew, and this is the first ever all-woman crew to sail in a Around the World boat race. And this happened back in 1989. Now, whether or not they won, came in first or whatnot in the race or whatnot, I'm not going to tell you, because this is one of those documentaries that if you know about before going in, it's not too bad, but not knowing the story, if you don't know about it, most certainly helps not going in, so don't go Wikipediaing it. It's really good, and it shows, like, you know, what, obviously, you know, what they had to deal with, you know, the adversity of the different, between the different genders, and it being a male-dominated sport at the time, and the conditions that they had to endure, because, I mean, you're going on, I didn't even think about this until I saw the movie, like, going on around the world, like, boat race, like, you're on a boat, and you think automatically, at least I did, because of my movie state of mind, I thought, Castaway, right? Where you're going to deal with certain, you know, really bad conditions, but, I mean, when they get down to, like, the southern seas and shit, and they're dealing with icebergs and shit, and fucking waters that are, like, it's moving, but the waters are just damn near, like, black because they're just so cold. Like, holy shit, that is terrifying. And these women did it. So another Real Rush golf clap to Tracy Edwards and her crew, and to this movie Maiden, which tells about the whole story of what I just described to y'all. It's awesome. It's such a good documentary. Go check it out. It's really good. It's in limited release right now. We saw it yesterday, Friday Night Angelica, up at the Angelica, and I'm not sure if Cinema Arts has it too. You might want to check out the website and check out, if you're not in the DC metropolitan area, just see where the hell it is playing in your motherfucking area. And this movie is particularly special, y'all. I should say this movie, the one up on this screen, is particularly special to The Real Rush Season 3, y'all, because Maiden is Season 3's 100th entry! 100 entry. 100 movies in less than half a season. Because remember, we don't hit half a season until July 20th. And the last two, as I stated in my post the other day, peep this shit out. So, a couple weeks ago when I said that we keep beating our high score, and I forget what the hell we were even talking about, we did it again with this season's 100. So we hit 100 movies this season in Season 3 as of July 5th. Friday, July 5th, 2K19. That was yesterday as of filming of this episode. The last two seasons of The Real Rush, the last two seasons 100s were, last season's was Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot on Friday, July 20th, actually on halftime day, 2K18 of Season 2. And for Season 1, it was Flatliners on Saturday, September 30th, 2K17. We didn't hit fucking 100 until almost like the fourth quarter of Season 1. We didn't hit 100 last year until halftime of Season 1. We still got 2 weeks left just about in the first half of Season 3. We're killing it, y'all. We're killing it. So, boom. We're keeping it rolling, keeping it moving. That's how the motherfucking Real Rush keeps on going. Who else could do that? Who else has done that? Nobody, man. That's what I thought, man. Maybe Kevin McCarthy, man. Maybe we shouldn't be rivals, man. Maybe we should, like, team up or something, man. Be the greatest movie buff tag team of all time in the DC metropolitan area, man. That's what I'm talking about. So, anywho, as far as episode 40 of The Real Rush goes, y'all, that's a wrap. So, a couple things that I just want to touch base on, or at least just one thing that I want to touch base on before we fully wrapped up episode 40 here of The Real Rush here on YouTube, is that, yes, it has been brought to my attention that 99.8% of the movies that I have reviewed thus far on The Real Rush on YouTube, I have said go see. And this is absolutely true. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I like every movie that I see. Okay, there is a difference between liking every movie that I see and finding the positives in every movie that I see. See, the cool thing about having a passion, as I've grown to have, for movies and such, is, growing to, appreciate, what goodness you can draw from each movie. Now, don't get me wrong, there have been some clunkers out there where it's been like, Jesus, just fucking shoot me in the face now and let this movie just end me, or don't even let me make it through this movie, from Justin to Kelly. My friend, one of my best friends, fucking challenged me to just, because he had to sit through the whole damn thing. He had to get tortured through the whole thing. And he challenged me to just watch the first 10 minutes. And I took that challenge. And that was way more painful than any ghost pepper challenge or anything in my life. So there have been some movies out there that are just like, oh, God. But yes, I do try to find the positives. Don't necessarily like each and every single movie. Like I said, I do have appreciation for every single movie, pretty much, that I see. And that allows me to tailor fit my reviews towards certain people. Such as, what we were just talking about a couple moments ago, Midsommar. Like, if you've partaken in the psychedelics, the psilocybin before, this movie's up your alley. Maiden. If documentaries are up your alley, you want to get your learn on, or you just want to hear an inspirational story, that movie's up your alley. Spider-Man, Far From Home, if you a superhero fan, if you just a Spider-Man fan, if you a good action, lighthearted tone kind of action comedy type person, that movie is up your alley. There is something for everybody that I find here on The Real Rush. Now don't forget, there have been some bottoms. The last 2 years there have been the bottom 10s. Will there be one this year? I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. But seeing as in that we are coming up on the halftime of this season, I just may come out with a top 10 of what I would say this year's top 10 movies thus far are. So that's in the near future. Hopefully. So, yeah. Find positives. Stay positive, y'all. The power of positivity. Anywho, so what's next up before or on the road to episode 41? Your boy did a guest spot on the District Wasteland podcast yesterday evening. That episode is yet to be posted, but once I do have that info, I will post the link and make it available on a future episode of The Real Rush. And also, the next Stagecoach Bandits show, as I mentioned at the end of last week's episode, is back on Friday this month. That's going to be on Friday, July 19th at 7:30 p.m. up at Stagecoach Theater Company. Tickets are currently available right now online. They are $12 online. They will be $15 at the door. But if you go online and get your tickets and use the promo code John, you get yourself a discount, baby. So tickets go fast. That is a Friday show. Don't forget, we back on our regular night, so tickets are going to be going fast. Where can you get your tickets? That is at stagecoach.tc/stagecoach-bandits. That is Stagecoach Thomas Coachella.com/stagecoach-bandits. Get your tickets now. Information on their website, address, phone number, all that. Go check it out now. And coming up on episode 41 of The Real Rush next weekend, we're gonna have it's looking like a pretty easy episode unless something pops up on the ticket. We're gonna have Stuber, which I'm really looking forward to because we got my boy, the hometown boy, Batista's up in the joint. And Kumail Nanjiani is up in the joint. He's a hot ticket right now, as we were discussing last night as well. And we're also going to have a review for y'all for Crawl, from the director and the makers of The Hills Have Eyes and Don't Breathe. And Don't Breathe is still on my top. I would put it in my possibly top 10 of scariest movies in my mind of all time. Yeah, I just said that. Come challenge me. And we'll duke it out. We'll see what happens there. So yeah, those two movies we will have reviewed for y'all. Episode 41 next week of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. But in the meantime, as always, y'all, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and shit like that, please feel free to go ahead and type those on into this YouTube page where you are viewing this week's episode right here. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for watching, getting us through these last 40 episodes. I can't believe that it's been 40 episodes so far, y'all. Boys fired up tonight. We're going to keep this momentum rolling. And to keep this momentum rolling, thank you for subscribing to the Real Rush channel here on YouTube. For those who have done so thus far. And if you haven't done so thus far, what the hell are you waiting for? Go ahead and click that button right now so you can be the first one to know when your boy drops a new episode of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. And just the same, please spread the word of The Real Rush like everybody should be spreading love these days, ladies and gents. So yes, that does mean tell people about my shit. Tell your peoples. And as always, it's pen time. you can follow your boy on Instagram for my live movie check-ins as they occur. And that is at JDubChampion, hashtag The Real Rush. And for The Real Rush, ladies and gents, I am your boy J-Dub. Once again, thanks for watching. And remember, when you're at the movies, keep the lips shut, phones away, and smartwatches off. Because any conversations between you and the asshole sit between you and whatever's going on in your phone and all the time and all that, all the text messages, all that, I guarantee it'll be waiting for you by the time and after the movie is all said and done, y'all. Chill the fuck out. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun, y'all. Love J-Dub. And we'll see you next weekend! Peace out! I tried to kick, man, but it just keep calling me, man. It just keep calling me, man. I gotta go to it.